Right guys, I didn't do my emails last night because I put in a new motherboard. It's the B450 Aorus. I got this one mainly because I could have got a higher chipset on my motherboard, but the thing is, it didn't have the right layout, because when you got certain graphics cards, they block up some of the PCIe ports, which I wanted. So I put in this new motherboard, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone because there's one little issue that it doesn't tell you until you read the instructions. See up there, I've got actually where the green light is. I've got an expansion card for an SSD, and I'll explain why in a minute. So guys, the new motherboard I put in yesterday is nothing but a pain in the arse, to be honest. The main reason I chose this board, because I don't overclock, so it's a lower chipset. It's a 450, it's a 350, 450, I think it's 550, 650 and 790, I believe. But the main reason I chose it, because most of the Gigabyte boards they've only got like a maximum of 6 USB ports. Even though I've got 2 USBs here, which is USB 2, I use these for me light gun and for the sensor. They work better on USB 2. So I've got 4 USB 3s, and these 2 down here, I've got one for my disk drive and one for my printer. And these ones I've got 3 external drives, so I've used them on that. And I've also got my mouse plugged in to USB 3, and obviously I've got USB 3 header, which I've used. And I've also got another reason I got this one is because of the layout, because this doesn't get covered by your graphics card, because your graphics card goes in here, and you also get to the slot down here as well, and this one. So I've got a USB 2 backplate, and I've also got a USB 3 backplate as well, which plugs into here. So altogether I've got another 4 USB 3s, and I've got 2 USB 2s. But what I didn't know, and it doesn't tell you until you actually get the bloody thing, these are your SSD slots. I've got a terabyte for this one and 2 terabytes for this one. But what it doesn't tell you is when you have a second M.2 SSD, only these 2 ports for your hard drives work. And I've got 3 internal hard drives, so these work. But what it does, but they didn't actually work when I plugged it in, but apparently they work. But these take bandwidth from your PCI slots, so you lose some of the potential frames per second from the PCI slot. So what I had to do, I had to go out yesterday and buy an expansion to put my second M.2 card in, so I'd have full speed on my PCI Express lanes, which they should bloody tell you that beforehand. You know, there's no good cutting down on 2 of them, you know, so you're losing like half your SATA slots. And you know, for about an hour and a half thinking, why isn't it bloody working? Because originally I didn't have my H drive, so then I swapped it with my E drive, then I didn't have my E drive, and until I went through the instructions, it says here, when you have the availability of SATA connection may be affected by the type of installed M.2 connection. You're right on the first one. The second one cuts them out, even though these didn't work for me, but it's probably an option in the BIOS. But what the hell? I think that's bloody wrong, that is. Don't tell you until you actually buy it. But apart from that, it was pretty. This is one of the better ones that I had to work with. I found this very easy to get to, and all my wires managed to match up pretty good, and it all looks nice and neat and tidy. So that's what I was doing yesterday, guys. I think I started about 1 o'clock, didn't finish till bloody 8 o'clock at night, and I've still got to do the tidying up now. And the other thing I found on this one here, when you screw down the M.2 underneath, there's a thermal pad on it, and it doesn't even touch the M.2 slot, the M.2 SSD, but the temperatures are still good, so I'm not particularly bothered about that. But it's a good layout. It just crap why you have 2 slots that I found with my MSI one, that I didn't have an issue with any of my slots on that one, and that had 2 M.2 slots. And the main reason I changed is to get the lights working on my RTX 4070, because I didn't have the RGB working. So I put in a new motherboard, Gigabyte one, because my graphics card's a Gigabyte one, so I thought, yeah, that should work, it'd be compatible. And does it fuck? It still doesn't light up, so obviously I've got a dodgy card. So I've reformatted, which took me bloody weeks to put my crap back on. Obviously I haven't got all, well, I've got all my stuff on there, but there's still some of my arcade ROMs that I've got to make shortcuts for. And I've taken off all my MSI stuff, and I even used Open RGB as well, and that don't pick up my graphics card. So 120 quid later, and it still don't bloody work with my graphics card. So I wrote off to Scan, where I bought the graphics card from, after getting hold of Gigabyte. Eventually they got back to me and saying it must be a problem with the graphics card, so now I've got to send that back. What a bloody palaver just to get my RGBs working. Well, there you go, guys. So this is the B450 Elite, which I wouldn't recommend, because obviously with the SSD slots, the M.2 slots, you don't get full bandwidth, and you lose 2 out of the 4 of your main SATA drives. So there you go. Cheers, guys.